answered, "You just need to smile more often, never be angry, and quickly forget all the bad stuff." On February 12th of this year, the Guinness Book of Records called Chitetsu Watanabe the oldest living man in the world, and on February 23rd, he unfortunately passed away. It was just 11 days before his 113th birthday. Richard Overton.
My name is Richard Arvin Overton.
If you get to know this person better, there won't be any questions how he managed to live to 112 years. During his lifetime, Richard was one of the oldest men in the United States. He was also the oldest veteran of World War II in the United States. Richard was born on May 11, 1906, and only 34 years later, he finally found his true life purpose, the Army. Overton served in the South Pacific. The media claimed that Richard saw an attack on Pearl Harbor with his own eyes. Even at a very advanced age, he did not lose his strength of spirit and displayed fearlessness, which helped him survive the war. He says, "Nothing ever bothers him. He can sleep with every door open without a lock on it." Many people become inactive and need help when they turn 90, but when Richard hit 100 years old, he still led a rather active lifestyle and even drove a car. In 2016, he even renewed his driving license, all by himself. At that time, he was already 108 years old. Richard Overton has been honored with many awards, such as the U.S. Army Good Conduct Medal and American Defense Service Medal. He passed away on December 27th, 2018. Bob Wheaton. Now let's talk about the man who is officially recognized as the oldest living man on the planet. Bob Wheaton is a resident of the United Kingdom. He was born in Kingston upon Hull, and looking at him, it's hard to believe that a month ago he celebrated his 112th birthday. In his youth, Bob took up a marine engineering apprenticeship, then moved to Taiwan. He spent 2 years in Japan studying the language. In 1939, Bob and his wife wanted to return to Britain, but the war broke out and the couple ended up in Toronto, Canada. Then they moved to Connecticut, then Washington, and only after the war was over, they finally returned home. Bob devoted his life to teaching. Even after celebrating his 110th birthday, Mr. Wheaton continues to be active and able to walk on his own. When asked about the secret of his longevity, Bob says that he simply avoids dying. Hester Ford. If you look at the list of 100 oldest people on the planet, it's easy to notice that there are very few men, only 6 of them to be exact. So let's talk about women for a change. Let's start with Hester Ford from the US, who was born on August 15th, 1904 in Lancaster. For 5 months now, she's the oldest living US citizen. Last year, she turned 115 years old. And although the holiday was a real event, we would not want to attend it. Why? Too crowded. Hester's family is huge. The woman raised 12 children. As of 2017, she has 53 grandchildren, 120 great-grandchildren, and 126 great-great-grandchildren. Lucille Randon. And here we have a woman who is not only the oldest person in France, but also in the entirety of Europe. Lucille Randon was born on February 11th, 1904, which means that a couple of months ago, she turned 116 years old. This woman has spent her entire life helping others and serving God. When she was young, Lucille worked as a teacher and a governess. In 1923, she was baptized, and after World War II, she chose an extremely important and noble mission. For 28 years, Lucille worked in a hospital, where she cared for orphans and the elderly. The woman decided to spend her old age in a monastery, where she has been living for more than 40 years now. Despite her age, Lucille is adamant about attending Mass at 11 o'clock and taking part in the evening prayers. In her free time, the old lady likes to listen to the radio and walk around the garden. Jérôme Kimura. Can you imagine a cake big enough to fit 116 candles? Well, this man can. He not only ate a cake like that, but he was also the one who blew all the candles out himself. Jérôme Kimura was a man who held the title of the oldest person on the planet for the whole last year of his life. Besides, for 2 years, he was also the oldest man alive. Jérôme was born in the Japanese city of Kyotengo. After graduating from school, he got a job in the post office, where he then worked for 45 years. After retiring, he did not become a slacker. He spent all his free time on a farm. It's no secret that working with livestock, in the garden, or in the field is incredibly hard and exhausting. That's why it's all the more surprising that Jérôme was doing all these things until he turned 90 years old. Then, unfortunately, his legs began to weaken, so he had to give up what he loved. Kimura said that the secret to his longevity was regular physical activity and proper, balanced nutrition. He died in 2013, having 7 children and a bunch of grandchildren with great-grandchildren. Kane Tanaka. You are looking at the world's oldest living person. On January 2nd, Kane Tanaka, a resident of Japan, celebrated her 117th birthday. The more you find out about this amazing woman, the more you admire her. Kane was born prematurely. She survived the First World War, then the second, although she lost her husband and son in the latter. She somehow managed to recover from her grief and worked in her family shop until her retirement. At the age of 103, this woman won another battle with death. This time, she managed to beat colon cancer. Today, Kane Tanaka lives in a nursing home. She likes doing calligraphy, writing poetry, and walking down memory lane, which is pretty long in her case. Her 4 keys to a long life are family, hope, healthy sleep, and a balanced diet. We wish for the old woman's dream to come true. She said that she would love to live to the age of 120. Jean Calment, 122 years old. That's how old this woman was when she parted with the title